Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and I'm sitting with Gabby today from the managing editor of Beauty Launchpad. That's still a mouthful,
Yes,
Gabby.
I am. It is. It is a very big mouthful of the title. Yeah.
It is. Hey, Crusty Poem Friends is coming up.
Yes, I'm so excited. This will be my first year attending, but I know I've heard about the event for a few years, and I'm excited to finally get to be there because I love going to trade shows. I do, but sometimes I feel like I love the more intimate events that are more stylist focused,
Mhm.
where I really get to meet people and connect one on one and get to learn more about their story and what it is they're doing and get to really cultivate those relationships because some of the trade shows are so chaotic and there's so much happening and moving around and a lot of moving pieces. And so it's nice to have so an event that's more relaxed, I guess, and is
Well, I don't know if it's more relaxed. We'll have to see once
yeah,
we.
that's true.
However, I will say that it's definitely stylist centric.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of stylists in the room, and they're there to support other stylists. That's where it's a little bit different. The room's small. It's in an old. It's at an old Masonic temple. It's actually a Paul Mitchell, a Paul Mitchell school. And that's our dear friends Charles and Sharon Reiser. They host us each year at the Paul Mitchell School there in Frederick, Maryland. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna one, that building's incredible. Two, like the whole town of Frederick is literally like another character in the whole weekend because it's such a special town. It's absolutely positively like Main Street USA. It's like all those paintings from the 1950s. It definitely has like a Norman Rockwell kind of feel to it.
I'm excited. I've never been to Frederick, Maryland, so I'm excited to get to explore the location. I'm excited to get to go to the Paul Mitchell School. It's going to be so much fun. And Paul Mitchell feels like the name of the game for our episode today, Corey,
Yeah.
does it not?
Wow, look at that. A little segue there. So
Yeah.
so Gabby, talk to me about the article that you just put together, and then bring our guest in.
Yes. So Beauty Launchpad's March April issue is out now. Please go and give it a read. It is our eco chic issue. I'm very proud of it. So we talked to some bridal stylists and we have some episodes focused on that. But then the other side of things is talking about sustainability and how can we sort of do better in the industry. There's a lot of topics about clean beauty and making your salon sustainable and everything. And so we are in search of a cover sponsor for our March April issue. And Paul Mitchell decided to be our cover sponsor. And they have a very wonderful 4-page folio in their issue where they talk about sort of their plans for 2025 and some of their relaunching with some like new packaging and some of their gorgeous model imagery and other things that they're doing to really build community in the industry and sort of their sustainability initiatives as well. So it's a really great, gorgeous piece. And in the 4-page folio, and they're on our cover as well. We talked to Paul Mitchell's CEO and their president, and today we have their president with us, the very lovely Jason Yates. Thank you so much for joining us today, Jason.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be on, and I just got to see the issue, and you guys did us proud. It looks great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I love the cover image too of the you and your CEO. Just I love like your smiles, the whole thing. It looks so great.
Yeah. We wanted to pick something that kind of translates like how much fun we have at work,
Yeah.
which I think it does that.
That's awesome, Jason. Where we hear a little accent there. Where are you from?
Yeah. I'm originally from the UK. I'm from the north of the UK, close to Manchester, little town called Stoke. If anybody's ever heard of that soccer team, they're not very good, but that's my boys. Yeah, no, I've been in the States 23 years. Actually 23 years tomorrow. It's my anniversary. March the
3 years
4th.
tomorrow. Wow,
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It's
That's
always kind of a poignant date for me because it's such a big turning point in my career.
for sure. Are you a hairstylist?
I am, yeah, I still have my license, in fact.
No, you don't.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go.
Ah, that's awesome.
Got to put my label on it, but it's my Texas hairdresser's license, cosmetology license.
Wait, so you worked hold on. How do you get from the UK to Texas?
Those very different weather patterns, very different climates.
Yeah, a little slightly different weather in Houston, Texas, and Stoke-on-Trent, England, which is where I'm from. But it's kind of a long story, and I know we have a short opportunity here. But yeah, I started as a hairdresser when I was 15 years old. I left high school. In England, you generally leave high school at 16, but I was the youngest in my class, so I was still 15, and I did an apprenticeship as a hairdresser at a local group of salons, which were called John English. They are very, very good, high quality salons, and I did a 3-year apprenticeship with them. And that's how I got started. It was a terrific education. Stayed there for about 12 years, working behind the chair, worked my way up from apprentice to stylist and salon manager, and then area manager. At the same time that I was working there, I entered a competition, national competition. I won that, and that kind of thrust me onto a platform. The prize was to become a member of an artistic team for a manufacturer, which I'd never been exposed to that. So that kind of was the first time I saw not only can I do great work behind the chair and just love and enjoy doing that, but also that there was lots of opportunities in this fabulous beauty industry. So that's how I got onto platform, and I did that for 12 years. And simultaneously, when that was happening, the company in the UK that I worked for, John English, they became the first customer of Sunglitz, which I don't know if you're a hairdresser, if you remember Sunglitz. Sunglitz was invented in the late 80s by Farouk Shami, and it was the birth of Farouk Systems. And it was an innovative ammonia-free highlighting system that you could do highlights in less than 30 minutes. So our salons saw this product and we took it on. And Farouk said to us, well, you're my one and only account in the UK. Would you like to be my distributor as well? So that's how we became a distributor for Farouk. That's how I built the relationship with Farouk, which ultimately led me to a job opportunity in Houston, Texas. So yeah, I became art director for Farouk in Houston, Texas in 2002. My first day was March the 4th.
March. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. How so many questions now. So
Yeah, sorry, it's
no, no,
35 years
no, no,
in
no, no, no,
5
no, no.
minutes.
We're all good. So, were you excited to come to the U.S.? Were you nervous? What was those? What was that feeling?
All of the above. At that stage in my career, I was 27. I'd gone about as high as I could in the salon company that I work for. And I was really at a crossroads with my career. It was either go and open my own salon or do something crazy. And this opportunity came up, and just something inside said, go for it. Just hey, if it doesn't work out, come back and open the salon. But I really believed in Farouk. I thought he was a tremendous entrepreneur, super innovative, and I was just excited by the opportunity. And before the job offer, I'd been invited to go out to Texas to perform in a hair show. So he invited me over. I think he was test driving me to see if I would resonate with the US audience. And yeah, the first show I did was actually Armstrong McCall's World's Fair show, and it was in Fort Worth at the time. It was in 2001, and I did the show, and I'd done some shows before in the UK and Europe, and shows in UK and Europe, education is very serious, and we don't try and sell anything, and it's very proper and a bit boring.
Mhm.
And I came to the US, and it was like a rock concert. Everybody was having fun. The music was blaring. It was just I loved the energy. And as soon as I got on the platform here and started to talk, I thought, wow, this is a great place for me to be at this stage of my career. And when I got done off stage, Farouk said, you do so well here. I'd love you to come and work for me full time. So yeah, so I did it. I did it on a handshake. I had no contracts, no agreements. I'd only had one job before, and that was from being 15 years old. So I definitely took a leap of faith. I sold everything I owned, and I came to the US with one suitcase and not much money and a handshake. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was a great experience, and it was a good time for me to join the company. I was right place, right time. In 2001, Farouk was growing. He had Sunglitz, he had Biosilk, and that was when he invented the Chi Iron, which took the company from being successful to crazy, crazy growth and crazy success. And like a lot of small companies, when they grow quickly, they don't have infrastructure, they don't have process, they don't have people. But for me, it was terrific because I was with him in the trenches, figuring it out as we went. So I was doing marketing before I even knew what marketing was. I was doing product testing, uh, sales, education, whatever was required, really. So it was a terrific like baptism of fire, and I just kept remembering I'm a hairdresser first and foremost. That's why it's so important for me to keep my license. And I got to tell you, all the success I've had in my career is from remembering that and really applying that.
That's
Current
amazing.
customers are hairdressers. Yeah.
Last year we had a woman on the podcast, Dinah. I'm forgetting her last name, but she started a company called Health Aid Kombucha, which is like the most like popular like
Yeah.
kombucha here in the U.S. now. But
I love that stuff.
yeah, right, it's great, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But she was telling a story similar to that. Is that they had like $1 million in sales, but didn't have any like backstock. And because it's kombucha, it needs some
You got
time.
to plan for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ferment.
So like they had all these orders, they had $1 million in orders that they couldn't fulfill because at that point, I'm pretty sure they were in their kitchen or somewhere outside of their kitchen. And they were like, how can we be successful and have to go out of business? Like they were doing that. And then somehow fate arose because as they're sitting at the kitchen, she tells the story she's sitting at the kitchen with her husband, like, I don't know what we're going to do. Here we are very successful, but we're going to have to close down. We can't stay open. And then she gets a phone call from another bottling company that wanted to invest in the company. She said literally while they were sitting at the kitchen table. So, man, you talk about fate, man. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's when those things happen, it doesn't happen that often. It's exciting to be a part of it. It was an exciting time.
That's really cool. Yeah. And I can't imagine what you must have thought about coming to those hair shows because, I mean, they're still that way. They haven't really changed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I loved it. It was such a change from what I've been doing previously. That I just enjoyed it, and I I grew quickly. I was doing hair shows, then started to do collections, then took over all the education, writing all the curriculum. So it was really a good set of experiences for me, which really I think equipped me for much later on in my career.
How long were you with Farouk?
I was with him as a part-time educator in the UK and working as a distributor for about 7 years, but then 10 years as a full-time employee in Houston, up
That's
until I joined Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, let's talk about that because I feel like Paul Mitchell has a similar origin story. And we dive into this a little bit in the folio. The brand started with just like $700. It's sort of a typical startup. It has that
Yeah.
same sort of origin story. And now you're president of the company. Do you sort of want to talk about your journey within Paul Mitchell and sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
how
absolutely.
you ended
So,
up?
so yeah, like Paul Mitchell is obviously an iconic company. It's one that I'd known throughout my entire career, and particularly when I came to the US, always looking from an envious position. As like, wow, this is a mega brand, has such a cult loyal following. It has the schools. It's very loyal to hairdressers. It was really a company that I always admired, and just the one thing that's very important, not one thing, but one of the things that's most important is the relationships you make along your journey. And just happened to be that John Paul Mitchell Systems was looking for a vice president of marketing, and they reached out to several people, and several different recommendations came back as me being recommended. So I got a call from the president of BSG saying, Paul Mitchell is interested in a VP of marketing, and I know you have another company with a similar role. I was VP of sales and marketing at the other company, but I think you'd make a terrific fit there. You're a hairdresser. They love hairdressers. They're looking for somebody young who's got good experience. And at that time, I was in my 30s and had good experience, but still had a long runway. So yeah, I took the call with Michaeline DeJuria, who's the CEO. She wasn't the CEO then, and Luke Jacobalis, who was the president. And I'd only had two jobs in, by this time, 22 years of my career, and really never had an interview. because
Right.
I was an apprentice at 15, and then I kind of got Farouk just offered me a job. So they said, we really want you to fly in and have an interview. So I was newly married. I'd only been married a week at the time. And my wife, of course, big smile on her face. Wow, Paul Mitchell, love that company. Oh, and it's in California. You got to go. So I flew out and had an interview, and I got to tell you, I was super nervous because I've never really been interviewed in my entire career, and here I am coming into the most iconic, biggest beauty company privately held in the world, in my opinion. And I walked through the doors, and the minute I walked through the doors, actually in this building, I just felt this energy that was incredible, and everybody was so cool and so nice and so friendly. And I got interviewed by literally about 15 people. Like every department had interviewed
Oh,
me.
hold on, hold on, hold on. Paint the picture. Like, are you at like a conference table and there's 15 people around, or they're bouncing you
No,
like
no.
room?
So I walk in and there's a lot of people buzzing around the office, and I meet Luke, who's the president, and he has a brief conversation with me, and he says, "I want you to meet some different department heads." I met everybody. I met the VP of sales. I met the VP of marketing who was retiring. I met the VP of education, operations, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of people interviewing me. And then it culminated. I spoke to Michaeline and Luke, and it culminated with JP. So JP, and of course I know JP, and like I'm super intimidated and nervous. And he comes in and he's just so nice and so warm and welcoming. And we have a nice conversation and we're just chit chatting. And he offers me a drink. He offers me, he said, I just invested in this winery. Do you like wine? And I'm like, is this a trick question? Offering me wine in the middle of the day. So I
Cool.
said, yes, I love wine. And I drank some with him and enjoyed it. But, you know, I left the interview and they offered me the job on the spot, which I was still kind of in shock and pinching myself on. I flew back to Houston and talked to my wife, and she said, "You haven't stopped beaming and smiling since you got home. I just feel this is the right thing to do." But we had a lot to figure out moving from Texas to LA. But yeah, I accepted, and the best decision I ever made in my professional career. And I found out after, because we do it, is Paul Mitchell's very, very picky about the people they have join the company. It's not just about the resume. They really want to find people who have the right heart, the right culture. That's super important to the company. And hairdressers are so important to JP. And I think I'm testament to that. There's not many companies our size that have a hairdresser, in the role that I'm in. And I'm not the only one. We have lots of hairdressers in the executive team throughout the company. And that was something that was important for me. If I was going to leave what was a great job, I wanted to leave to come to a company that I felt could take me to the next level, but also a company that had the same values as me. And definitely Paul Mitchell did and does. And yeah, it's been terrific. I'm almost at 13 years here now. So it's been a heck of a ride.
Well, you just kind of explained, like, honestly, the one question that I had for you, and that is like, how does a hairstylist like step in? Because when you're talking about a company that's like as big as Paul Mitchell, which is it's not just a big like hair company, but it's a big product company across any product that you're selling in the world. And like how like and again, I don't mean this with any insult or anything like that, but
No,
like I assume you don't have like a PhD in marketing. I assume you don't have a marketing degree. I assume that you don't have a master's in this thing. So like
no.
how does a hairstylist that works behind the chair, and there's so much inspiration here because everybody that listens to this is that person. Like how do you go from like being a stylist behind the chair to the president of arguably the largest hair product company in the world, or the top beauty brand in the world? I mean, what a journey, and like what a unicorn it must feel like, and that you are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I'd say it's a lot of things. First of all, I'm very blessed. I've been right place at the right time. I've also worked my ass off, and I've also, I think, as I've matured and I've learned from people, I always try and keep learning. I think it's easy when you come into a company like this to feel intimidated. I think to feel imposter syndrome, right? It's like, ooh, what am I doing here? I'm just a hairdresser, you know. I but then you have to remember the experiences that you bring. This company's not lacking anybody that has marketing degrees. I mean, we have a robust marketing team, people with MBAs, double MBAs. We have a lot of very smart people, but there's all different kinds of smart. And my smarts come from experience, from actually application, being a hairdresser, being behind the chair, being a distributor, being a salesperson, being an educator, having my hands in product. All those experiences, I think, mesh really nicely with the balance of people that we have in the company. And I think one thing about John Paul DeJoria himself, I mean, he finished high school and has no education after that, but he's one of the most successful business people in the world. So he likes to give people opportunities based upon their heart, their willingness to work, their brain, not necessarily on the resume. Of course, resume is important. So I would say, I think my biggest strength is knowing what I'm good at and knowing where I need help and leaning on the people around me and hiring people who are smarter than me. I think that's important. I think for any organization to move forward, you have to increase your knowledge base. And how do you do that? You bring people in who know things that you don't know. And that way, as an organization, the whole level rises and we all learn from each other. And it's important having a great team that really like each other and really believe in the vision and not having those egos, which, it's pretty common in big corporations, a lot of positioning and egos that go on. I really feel that we have such a great executive team and beyond at Paul Mitchell, where people really, they just love coming to work. They all believe that they're doing something for the greater good. And I think a lot of that comes down from the top. It really comes from John Paul and Angus, the way that they have run the company and the way they have been. They've really given a lot to the employees. And we always say people are our most precious resource. They really are. I mean, we have great products, but so do lots of other companies. What do we have beyond that? What's behind the bottle? And I think you'll see behind the bottle at Paul Mitchell is just a big heart and culture and just an amazing company.
I love that. Do you do you keep that top of mind, like when you're hiring?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Want to.
Because my resume is being emailed over now.
There you go. Okay, I'd love to, man. Love to. Yeah, we're always looking to add talent to the team. But yeah, when we're hiring, it's really, really important for us that people really want to work here. I listen. I won't ever name names, but I've interviewed plenty of people who are well qualified, but they're like, well, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this, I'm like, I want you to be excited about being here. Like we literally come to work and we're excited. I mean, when you see the front cover of the magazine that for the latest edition, the Launchpad, you'll see just how much fun Michaeline and I have, and the whole team does. I mean, we have fun coming to work. We really, I mean, you spend more time with your work colleagues than you do with your family. So,
No, for sure.
it's such a blessing when you all get along.
No, the cover is such a fun, candid photo. I really, really love it. I saw it and my eyes lit up and I was like, this is a great choice.
Yeah, they showed a bunch of them, and we've got, of course, all our serious corporate headshots. So I was like, oh, Michaeline, I love this one. This kind of captures the mood, which we're always goofing around.
Yeah. And I love the imagery that's inside too. Like you have some really gorgeous sort of like model imagery that you're using to sort of promote this new wave of Paul Mitchell or the rebrand. And the models are so gorgeous. Like the hair is beautiful and it's so stunning. And I think speaks to like some of the diversity in the industry too.
Thank you. It's really an exciting time in the company. I kind of alluded to it at the top of the call as a lot of the things we've been working on for the last 5-6 years really starting to happen now. Of course, Paul Mitchell is a hugely successful, iconic company. I always say we were the OG of caring about the planet, of always being cruelty-free. Really, way before it was popular and trendy. We just did it because JP and Paul, when they started the company, they're nice people. They wanted to make a difference. And we've always stayed true to that. But I've really been excited since Michaeline stepped into her role as CEO, which is just over 4 years. And simultaneously, at the same time, I assumed the president's role. We're really working on how do we up it? How do we up our game to the next level? We have terrific presence. We have terrific market share. People really love us. We have a loyal base of salons. But how do we appeal to new users and how do we take the brand to the next level? So we've been working really hard on this restage. We've completely restaged the look and feel of the Paul Mitchell iconic black and white brand. It's not black and white anymore. The packaging is now all PCR, post-consumer recycled, no more virgin plastic. We also work with labels which fall off during the recycling process to make it easier to recycle. All our most favorite products are still there, as well as a bunch of innovation. We've launched 17 new items in 2025, including, I'm really excited about these guys that are right here. This is a brand new breakthrough and innovation in the beauty industry. This is our clear line, Paul Mitchell Clear. You can see all the products are transparent. They're all less than 10 ingredients, no fragrance. So we're excited about these. We think we're pioneering and really helping salons tap into a new revenue stream because there's a lot of guests that come into the salon that are sensitive to fragrance and perfume, but they want a professional grade product quality. And there's really nobody offering anything like this until now. So pretty excited to get this rolled out later in 2025. So lots of good things we've been working on for a long time.
Are you like, I can't imagine like taking like Paul Mitchell, not the black and white bottles, like they're iconic. I mean, like it must have been quite the like swallow to kind of move away from that a little bit. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
There's a whole
what you know.
lot of stories with that. When we sat down with John Paul, and told him, we wanted to change the logo because we changed our logo a little bit too. I don't know if you noticed. And we wanted to get away from the black and white packaging. And the reason for the black and white packaging departure is really as iconic as it was. It's a mature line. It's 45 years old, and we have hundreds of products within the line. And we have a loyal base of users. But when we interviewed people who didn't use our brand and salons that didn't carry our brand, a lot of them were intimidated because the products kind of all looked the same and they weren't sure what product was for what. So we've tried to be really mindful of adding color and making it easier to navigate. So that first moment of truth on the shelf when somebody walks up to the Paul Mitchell products, it's less daunting and less intimidating. And we think that coupled with our new sustainability efforts on top of our iconic brand name is going to really lend itself for us to be able to attract more new users. So more young hairdressers choosing John Paul Mitchell Systems brands, particularly Paul Mitchell, is important for us. And of course, we have such a loyal following already. We think we feel very confident that they're going to continue to love us and use us and believe in us even more because we're doubling down on all the things we stand for.
What's the sustainability mean to Paul Mitchell?
Sustainability just means leaving the world in the better place than we found it in every way we can, in every touch point we can. And sustainability never stops. It's you've got to continue to look for ways to be more sustainable. Certainly, what we were doing 5 years ago, we're doing more now, and we'll be doing more still in 5 years to come. And I think sustainability is a journey and a destination that you just have to keep working towards.
That's awesome. Gab?
Yeah, I was going to say we dive into in the folio a lot about sustainability, and I know you talk about the restaged smooth category, which is sort of just the new launch that you had come out at the top of the year. I love the packaging for it. I love the green. It's like very much one of Paul Mitchell's iconic products. Do you want to talk a little bit about sort of why you chose for that to be sort of what kicks off this whole restage?
Yeah. Very, very simple. It's really logistics. As I mentioned, Paul Mitchell's a massive line, and for us to restage everything all at the same time, it's just too much. It's right. Too much. It's too much for our distributors. It's too much for our salons. So we're doing it category by category, and we're starting with Smooth because it's our most popular category. So Smooth contains super skinny serum as well as our smoothing shampoo and conditioner. And then we've added some new products, sealing rinse and sealing mask as well for launch. So yeah, it felt like a good place to start. And then our cadence of rolling out the rest of the restage is going to be throughout the rest of the calendar year.
That's so cool. What are those conversations like internally? Not just with JP, but like when you announce it to the whole company that like, oh, big changes are happening and here they are. Cause I got to imagine that. And I don't think I kind of mean this as a compliment in a weird way, Jason, but like you rested on your laurels because that packaging was so, for the lack of a better word, iconic.
Right, right. Well, listen, when we present it to various groups, whether it's people within our company or distributors, obviously see it before salons. I'll be honest, we've had every kind of reaction from like, oh my God, this is so cool, it's so exciting, to like, what are you guys doing? You must be crazy.
Of
You know,
course.
change is hard and it's scary, and you know, people are generally resistant to change, you know, but I believe in the power of the brand. I believe in what's inside the bottle as well as what's behind the bottle. And I know just because we're making these changes, you know, sure, some people might resist a little bit, but I still think they're going to stay with us. And I think the upside potential is we're going to appeal to so much wider audience now. And, you know, for any brand that's been around for a while, it's important to gain new users. And, you know, I think our new restage of Paul Mitchell is only going to help us to do that. It's going to help us attract new users. It's going to drive more awareness at the consumer level, which will push to the salon, which is important as well. You know, we are a professional brand and we sell predominantly through the salon, but the stronger the consumer demand for the product is, the better for the salons, right? You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I was going to say, notice that a lot in the industry that there sort of is this blurring between the professional and the consumer, and really trying to find a way to hit both that I think is really interesting. Because I think there is a lot of hairstylists who want to be very pro focused, but I also think, on the other hand, the more that the consumer knows about how to care for their hair, the easier it'll be for the stylist also then to sell product to them. Like, it is a very interesting shift. I'm sort of curious, like, some of your thoughts on navigating that, and
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the professional beauty industry remains our number one focus and will continue to be, and our relevance in salons is what gives us relevance all the way through to the end user. But what's super important for John Paul Mitchell Systems is that the salons and stylists are set up for success and to win behind the chair. And the way that people consume products today is different than it was 20, 30 years ago, even 10 years ago. I mean, the pandemic definitely pushed people to buy products online, and people like the convenience of buying products online. And, you know, that's not going to go away. And I think you've seen a lot of professional brands now are embracing that, and their products are available online. The one thing that we have always promised our salons, that no matter what happens, we always want to make sure that the salons and stylists aren't left behind. So if there's a sale that's happening outside of the salons, we want to give back. So, for example, our partnership with Amazon that we launched in 2019, actually before the pandemic, make sure that anybody that buys our products, if an end consumer buys our products on Amazon, then our salons that are in our rewards program get a benefit from that. So they get a commission of sorts. It's a quarterly bonus that they get in their reward points, which they can redeem for products, they can redeem for back bar, they can redeem for education. So that's just an example of how we give back. Even though the industry has changed and blurred, it's important for us to continue to do that.
That's extraordinary. What are the I mean, aside from bottles, like what verbiage or marketing, or like, it's got to be more than the bottle, like what's Paul Mitchell talking about, as far as like just how has, again, the verbiage changed, or how's the conversation with the consumer or with the hairstylist
Yeah, I mean,
or
we've
improved?
got
Let's go that way. How's it improved?
Yeah, well, we've got our sustainability pledges, which you can go on paulmitchell.com. Whether you're a pro or you're a consumer, you can go on there and you can see the commitments we've made, whether it's reducing our virgin plastic, reducing our water usage, the various pillars that we've got on there. We're being very transparent with our progress towards each goal that we have on there. And you'll see that there's a lot of things that we've made good progress on, and things that we still have a long way to go. We want to be completely carbon neutral, I think by 2050, but we're making good progress on that. Reducing virgin plastic, reducing waste to landfill, saving water, just looking for lots of ways to be more sustainable. And we have a sustainability report that our director of sustainability publishes, I think quarterly again, which gets published online for all our salons to see.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the sustainability scorecard because you make a little bit of a nod to that in the editorial as well. Do you want to kind of detail like what is inside of that or what people can expect when they look into that scorecard?
Yeah, just like I said before, just transparency on the commitments we've made and the pledges we've made and the progress we've made towards it. We're publishing actual data that we have and the progress on each one of those pillars, important pillars, and we'll send that out, periodically throughout the year so that people can follow.
That's so cool. So like the US's 250th birthday is coming up, and I know that there's a company, it's an organization called it's the Don't Pollute People. Oh my gosh, I'm totally brain farting, but they're talking about just for like the 200, so for the 200th anniversary, so in 76 they did this big campaign about, that's what it is, keep America beautiful, and that kind of stuff. Have you guys teamed up with any of like the other organizations that are out there as far as like for pollution or for sustainability and stuff?
Not that I'm aware of, not as it pertains to the 250th anniversary. I mean, there's partnerships that we have in place, and there's ones that we're working on constantly, but nothing specific to the anniversary that I'm aware of.
I'm kind of blown away that it's been 50 years, but that's just me. That's just me, Jason. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that. Gabby's like, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, there's so much in the industry that goes on, and it's a lot, yeah, to keep up with. But it's fun to see all the different ways that people are innovating and collaborating and just putting sustainability at the forefront of what it is that they're doing. And I know we'll be chatting more about that and have a whole space in Beauty Launchpad in our magazine where we talk about that too, and making those shifts. One of the things I thought was interesting that I kind of want to ask about, that you dived into in the editorial. And maybe Mike Lean would know more about this. There was a race car that their founders built, I believe, in the 90s. I'm curious more of just the story behind that because that's so like out of the box from hair care. And I'm just sort of curious, like some of those other sustainability initiatives that Paul Mitchell was involved with.
It's just an example of the way that the company's always kind of operated, even before it was mainstream and popular. We have the Awapui farm in Hawaii, which has been there since 1981, which we still pull ingredients out of there for our products, which is completely self-sustainable. It's all solar. It's that was way ahead of its time. The solar panel car was built in the 80s by Paul and John Paul, and they raced it, and they were just innovators and mavericks. They were just guys that just wanted to do things that they were being told were impossible and couldn't be done. So yeah, that car's in a museum today. I think in LA, and you can view it. But yeah, it was obviously before my time at Paul Mitchell. I think Michael Lean would remember more, but what I know of it is it was just a cool innovation that those guys worked on like 40 something years ago.
It's very like Richard Branson-esque there. It's like
yeah,
cool, so
absolutely.
Cool. Jason, that's awesome, man. How can like people reach out or get more information about the sustainability or Paul Mitchell or Jason Yates, or like give us all the details about how they can find you, get you, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm kind of more of a behind the scenes person myself.
But don't get in touch with Jason.
Team. Anybody can email me or get in touch with me anytime they want. It's jason.yates@jpms.com. But I urge you to go on paulmitchell.com, follow us on all our social channels. You'll see everything that I've been sharing today is published. It's on there, and we'd love to just build community. That's
awesome, man. Jason, thank you so much for hanging out and
you're welcome.
Giving us your time, man. I appreciate it. I know it's tough to get into the president's the books. I appreciate it, and honestly, man, I just appreciate for everything that Paul Mitchell's doing, and once again being an innovator in the industry, and not in like the words of innovator, the words of being different, but actually doing it. I mean, everything from the Awawabi farm from 81. And, I mean, just, you guys are just such mavericks in this industry, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks again for having us, and thank you for your partnership with us. We appreciate it.
Sure thing. Thanks, Jason. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Oh, I'm sorry, Gab, did you have anything?
Yeah, just to sort of reminder, BLP's March April issue is out now. Paul Mitchell sponsored our cover, so there's a lot of great information in there that we didn't get to dive into in this podcast. So please go and read that and check it out. The spread is gorgeous. I love, like I said, the cover imagery. And we chat with Jason and Michael Ian about a lot of what Paul Mitchell is doing in 25, how they're supporting the pro community with their pro rewards program, some of their sustainability initiatives. And a whole bunch of other things. So please, please, please go and check that out. And of course, you can stay up to date with Paul Mitchell throughout the year over at Beauty Launchpad for press releases, news, stuff like that. We'll be sharing all of that over there. And thank you again, Jason, for chatting with us and for sponsoring our March April issue. I'm so happy with how everything turned out.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Gabby and Mr. Jason Yates, thank you very, very much for joining us on your day off.